Our last speaker, Toastmaster Colete Fehr, is a native New Yorker, mother of 2 daughters in college, and licensed couple therapist in Baldwin Park. With her Icebreaker, means no digging, make it happen. This morning she asked us, are you making it happen or are you making excuses? Please welcome Toastmaster Colete.
Good morning, Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Who's excited for the weekend? So I will leave you with a brief glimpse of my story before we kick off the celebratory weekend. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Those words from poet Mary Oliver bring me right to my truth. I've always wanted to be an author. It started when I was 5 and persuaded my parents to buy me my first Nancy Drew mystery. This is my original copy, I still have it. They thought I was too young for it, but I knew what I wanted and that I could read it even if it took me forever. I instantly fell in love with this Spitfire red-headed sleuth, but it was Carolyn Keene, the author, who I really wanted to be. The greatest thing I could imagine was to put words together in such a way that they moved and inspired people. I began writing books on loose leaf, held together with ribbons or staples, and I came up with this pen name, Sarah Lashes. I have no idea where I got that from. And I would sell them to my parents and force them to read my book. Surely it seemed it was only a matter of time until I was the next great American novelist. Until adult life conspired against me. I had worked so hard to score a magazine job in New York, but had to leave it to move to Florida for my husband's career. I then enrolled in an MFA program for creative writing, but I had to drop out when I found myself divorced with 2 daughters under the age of 4 and no immediate means of supporting myself. That was a real doozy. Inspired by my own field experience in marriage counseling, I decided to become a couples therapist. I wanted to help people preserve their relationships the way I wished someone had been able to help me. It seemed becoming an author just wasn't meant to be. Yet people like my dad kept urging me to write a book, telling me I had talent. I'm not even a good writer, I told him. That was just a silly childhood fantasy. There was little evidence for this, but somehow I had convinced myself I wasn't good enough. Perhaps it was easier to think I was incapable than to accept that I'd simply stopped pursuing my dream. But the determined little girl who had fought for her first mystery book was still inside me, keeping an ember alive. Instead of a novel, I began to consider writing a nonfiction relationship book based on my experience as a therapist. I was told I had less than a 1% chance of getting a book contract with a Big 5 publisher. Yikes. Maybe I didn't have time anyway, I reasoned. Then last year, I found an old journal in which I'd written, "This is the year that I will write my book." It was from 2017. And it was 6 years later, and I hadn't written one word. It finally hit me. There were no true obstacles other than the phantoms in my own mind. I decided to self-publish and began writing with one goal only, sharing what I knew to help others. And like the little engine that could, I kept chugging along, writing, believing in myself and the impossible, until I landed an agent, written a 120-page proposal, and sold my book to Penguin Random House, the biggest publisher in the world. I'm excited and grateful, but also completely terrified. Rather than feeling vindicated that I am indeed good enough, this accomplishment just feels like a new higher ledge from which I could fall. The manuscript is due in 3 months from yesterday, literally. The pressure is real and I can't escape it. What if I don't get it done on time? What if it doesn't sell? What if I humiliate myself in front of the world? But sometimes self-doubt is merely a sign of how much you care. It's natural to be afraid when something really matters. You can't always escape fear, but you can accept and overcome it. It can be a passenger on the ride, not the one who drives the bus. If you closed your eyes and imagined that money, failure, and time were irrelevant, tell me, what would you do with your one wild and precious life? What's stopping you? Excuses? Fear? The lie that it's too late? In her best-selling book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, hospice nurse Bronnie Ware revealed that the #1 regret people express on their deathbed is, I wish I had lived my life for me and done what I really wanted. So if you have a dream, no matter how improbable, terrifying, or elusive, don't let it die inside you. The other day I found myself humming a simple tune from Sesame Street that I first heard about the same time I got this Nancy Drew. I'll spare you the singing, because that's something I know for sure I'm not good at. And just give you the lyrics instead. They may be familiar to many of you. Sing a song. Sing out loud, sing out strong. Don't worry if it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing a song. Finally, with this book, I'm just gonna sing my song. I'm doing it to help others. I'm doing it for me. I will not die with regrets. No matter what happens, I'll always be proud I took my shot. So what about you? Are you doing what really matters to you? If not, why not? Whatever it is, I encourage you to share your voice with the world in the unique way that only you can. That alone will make it good enough.